Ahmaud Arbery was then hunted down and shot. And he was killed because individuals here in this courtroom took the law into their own hands. With regard to the sentence in this case, as to Travis McMichael, Mr. McMichael, the court sentences you as follows. Count 1, malice murder, life without the possibility of parole. Greg McMichael, the court sentences you as follows. Count 1, malice murder, defendant was found not guilty. Count 2, felony murder, life without the possibility of parole. So the court, recognizing that Mr. Bryan's position is different, again, Mr. Bryan was found not guilty on count 1 and count 2. The court sentences Mr. Bryan to life with the possibility of parole on count 3.
COVID-19 hospitalizations are on the verge of a new record high in the United States, as the highly contagious Omicron variant fuels a surge in infections, according to a Reuters tally.
I've never seen anything like it since I've been a nurse.
Jody Parsons is an ICU charge nurse at Western Reserve Hospital in Ohio.
When we had our first surge, when the pandemic first started, it was nothing like it is today. I would say we're surging more today in this hospital than we were when it all started a year ago or 2 years ago. We notice a lot of, after the holidays, gatherings, like after Thanksgiving, we really imploded. We were full. We had 12 beds full at all times.
Hospitalizations have increased steadily since late December, as Omicron quickly overtook Delta as the dominant coronavirus variant in the U.S., although experts say Omicron will likely prove less deadly.
So it takes a few days for the medication that you guys are giving me to try to bring it back up.
COVID-19 patient Frank Clark tested positive for the virus as well as his wife.
A few hours later, my wife took the test.
That's okay. We don't have to do too much.
She tested positive.
Are you having any pain right now?
She's also a victim of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay.
So we're double trouble.
The 7-day average for new cases set a record for a 10th consecutive day at 597,000, while COVID hospitalizations reached 123,000 and appeared poised to top the record of over 132,000. Officials continue to press vaccinations as the best protection against serious illness, although federal mandates requiring them have become politically contentious.
I was raised by my parents to be an instrument for change, for good, for respect, and for the irreplaceable qualities of a human being.
Sidney Poitier, who broke through racial barriers as the first Black winner of the Best Actor Oscar and who inspired a generation during the Civil Rights Movement, has died, the Bahamian Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced Friday. Raised in the Bahamas, Poitier moved to New York at age 16 and worked odd jobs while he pursued acting. He won his history-making Oscar for Lilies of the Field in 1963, a comedy drama in which he played an itinerant handyman whose outlook on life changes after he helps nuns build a chapel. Poitier cemented his film legacy in a single year when, in 1967, with much of the U.S. still segregated, he starred in 3 films that dealt head-on with racial issues. In Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, he played one half of an interracial couple. As Virgil Tibbs in the Heat of the Night, he played a Black police officer confronting racism during a murder investigation. And in To Sir with Love, he played a teacher of unruly white working-class kids in London. Among his many accolades, including a second honorary Oscar in 2002, was the Presidential Medal of Freedom from then-President Barack Obama and the Commander in the Order of the Arts and Letters bestowed on him during the Cannes Film Festival in 2006, where he spoke of his rise in Hollywood.
I got there on my terms. My terms meant that I would get there if I am accepted as I perceived myself. I was an African-American actor. That was who I was.
In all, he acted in more than 50 films and directed 9. Sidney Poitier was 94.
Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay.
The 9 justices of the U.S. Supreme Court on Friday heard more than 3.5 hours of arguments over President Joe Biden's vaccine mandates.
This is about individual liberty.
The first over the vaccine or testing requirement for businesses with 100 or more employees, and the other over the administration's vaccine mandate for healthcare workers.
Why isn't this necessary to abate a grave risk?
But it was the first case that kicked off a heated debate, with liberal Justice Elena Kagan laying out the stakes.
This is a pandemic in which nearly 1 million people have died. It is by far the greatest public health danger that this country has faced in the last century. More and more people are dying every day. More and more people are getting sick every day. I don't mean to be dramatic here. I'm just sort of stating facts. And this is the policy that is most geared to stopping all this.
But the conservative justices on the court who hold a 6-3 majority questioned the legality of the mandate, which is being challenged by the state of Ohio and a business group and is set to go into effect on Monday.
Why doesn't Congress have a say in this?
Chief Justice John Roberts appeared skeptical that a 1970 law gave the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, the power to enforce the mandate.
You know, that was 50 years ago that you're saying Congress acted. I don't think it had COVID in mind. That was almost closer to the Spanish flu than it is to today's problem.
As for the second case, conservative justices including Roberts and Brett Kavanaugh appeared more open to the vaccine requirement for healthcare workers, which states led by Missouri and Louisiana are asking the court to block nationwide. 2 of the officials who presented arguments seeking to block the vaccine mandates, the Solicitors General from Ohio and Louisiana, made their cases remotely on Friday after having tested positive for COVID-19. Decisions by the Supreme Court in both cases are expected soon.
Wall Street had a choppy start to the new year, wrapping up the week with losses on the day and the week. Looming interest rate hikes made investors skittish about stocks. The latest U.S. labor report out Friday showed the jobs market was at or near maximum employment, even though jobs growth rose far less than expected last month amid worker shortages. Warren Financial CEO Randy Warren.
I think it says the economy is pretty strong, and we should be expecting a reopening surge in the economy.
That thinking fueled bets that the Federal Reserve would aggressively tighten monetary policy, pushing up Treasury yields for a 5th straight session. And that sent interest rate-sensitive tech stocks down, but economically sensitive sectors like bank and energy up. The Dow finished nearly flat. But tech stocks dragged down the S&P 500 0.4% and the NASDAQ almost 1%. The favorite of the meme stock crowd, GameStop, jumped 7%. The video game retailer said it will expand its marketplace for non-fungible tokens, which use blockchain to record ownership of digital items such as images or videos. No jab, no job. Citigroup gave its unvaccinated employees in the U.S. until January 14 to get the COVID-19 shot or get fired at month's end. Shares rose more than 1%.